Boxing King Media in association with Boxraw. Eddie, and I've got to ask you, what do you always do in between interviews on your phone?
Various different things. Open it up to about 9 WhatsApp messages, emails, people wanting answers, stuff about the show, stuff about fights happening, stuff about Phoenix, stuff about announcing shows on Saturday, stuff about an opponent's missed his flight, someone's failed a medical, we need a new opponent, a venue for the weigh-in.
You're juggling a lot of shit, basically. So let's get straight into it. Tell me, or tell the fans why you're putting on the best show this weekend, because there's about 3 big shows on.
I think that, obviously, I'm always going to say we've got the best show on, but there isn't one fan that wouldn't look at the shows at the weekend and say our show's the best show, from top to bottom. I mean, firstly, you've got Dillian Whyte, one of the biggest names in British boxing. It's actually a really good fight against Jermaine Franklin. You've got Wardley against Gorman, tremendous fight for the British heavyweight title. You've got Richards against Bolotniks, another great fight. Sandy Ryan's in a great fight. You've got Pat McCormack, Mark Dickinson, Chev Clark, loads more on the card as well. I think that it's mad that there's 4 televised shows in London this weekend, you know, and it's difficult, you know, it's not ideal because obviously there's only so many people in the boxing community, and obviously you've got Fury Chisora next week as well, and it's difficult times, you know, you've got to deliver more value than ever for people who want to watch, and I believe if you're looking for value this weekend and you're looking for the best card, ours is that, live on Dazn.
Jermaine Franklin, obviously you've been selling it to him that if he wins, he fights AJ next. But what if he wins in a dull fight, majority decision?
I think he's still going to be in a massive fight because he's going to have beaten Dillian Whyte. Let's be honest. A dull fight with Dillian Whyte losing on points don't really happen. I think this is going to be a shootout. Jermaine Franklin is a good fighter with a good team, and they're confident. They see holes in Dillian Whyte. He's coming off a knockout defeat, and they believe they're going to change his career on Saturday night.
Shane McGugan states that he sparred Daniel Dubois and he's given him a very good chance. Does that concern you at all?
I think it's good to hear. We want a good fight, don't we? I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to hear that Shane McGuigan said that Daniel Dubois flattened him. I want good feedback. This fight's costing a lot of money. You know, the customers want a good fight, and therefore we want people who are very credible, like Shane McGuigan, to say this is a very good fight. Jermaine Franklin, Golden Gloves winner, very good amateur, undefeated as a pro. He's, you know, this is a boxing guy from the States. He has a very, very good amateur pedigree. He's a very, very good fighter. And coming off the knockout defeat, it's a very tough fight for Dillian Whyte.
We touched on AJ there. Is there any truth in rumours that he may be training with Roy Jones Jr.?
No, I think they had a conversation in Abu Dhabi. I don't think anything else has really progressed from there. You know, AJ will start camp at the beginning of January. And, you know, from there, he's going to be in a situation where he's ready to go. End of March, first week of April, 3 fights in 2023. That's the plan. And he'll decide his training team, and he'll announce in due course. You know, he had a good experience with Robert Garcia. Let's get that straight as well. It wasn't like they didn't get on or it didn't go very well. So we'll wait and see what he decides.
We've seen obviously Wilder's potentially fighting Ruiz next, but why can't we just see Wilder versus AJ next? Because realistically, Wilder's is at the WBC belt. Surely he just wants big pay-per-view fights, and Ruiz isn't as big as AJ.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight. A lot depends, to be honest with you, on the training team and what they want for Anthony Joshua. I want him to be active. You know, the question is, does he go into a big fight in March or April? Or does he go into a mega fight in March or April? Does he do that in the summer? This is a very important moment for him to get it right, especially if he's working with a new training team. And a lot will depend on how they think he should be moved. But the key is to make sure he has 3 fights next year, and one of them must be Deontay Wilder.
Definitely. I just want to touch on a tweet from Jake Wood, the EastEnders actor. I'm sure you would have seen it, where he said he unsubscribed from DAZN. Does it concern you? Because I think we spoke last time, and I think you said to me that KSI's brought big numbers to DAZN. Could we ever get in a position for like boxing fans like us are concerned, where DAZN might decide and say, let's just run with that type of stuff?
I think that there isn't the longevity in YouTube boxing. Right now, it's hot. It's doing great numbers. I understand. KSI, Dylan Danis, going to do really big numbers for DAZN. Their subscribers, great position right now globally. They're very serious, DAZN, about boxing and then being the global home of boxing. I mean, look, let's just break it down. The next 3 weeks, we got this card with Whyte Franklin, tremendous card. Next week, we got one of the cards of the year with Estrada Chocolatito, and then we got a great card with Josh Warrington against Lopez in Leeds. That's high-level World Championship boxing, you know, across the board. So there is no danger of that. You've got Canelo Alvarez, you've got Ryan Garcia against Tank, you know, you've got Jesse Rodriguez, you've got so many great fighters on DAZN as well, and Julio Cesar Martinez on a card coming up. Dimitri Bivol, you've got top fighters, and as a boxing product, I truly believe DAZN is second to none. You can also watch YouTube boxing on there, which has its own place. It's not for everybody, but we understand the draw. But for me, I'm focused on delivering the best championship boxing to DAZN.
Next subject, Lawrence Okolie said in a recent Instagram post, I want everyone to know that every organisation that's done me wrong is at war with him in and out the ring, and he's going to go to court no matter how much it costs him. Are you one of them people?
Guess so, yeah. I mean, I think it said organisations, fighters, management companies, promoters. Yeah, look, I don't really want to get into a back and forward. I'm pretty consistent with what I'm saying. We've done an unbelievable job for Lawrence Okolie, and he has a fight left on his contract. And we've lost a lot of money on Lawrence Okolie. We've invested a lot of money in Lawrence Okolie, and we've never done anything. You know, we've always kept our word and promise and delivered at the highest level to Lawrence Okolie. And I believe that loyalty and that respect hasn't been returned. In fact, some of the things he said, like I phoned him about, I was quite disgusted about, really, especially, it just doesn't make sense. And all it is people in his ear that haven't got a clue. So, you know, he was due to fight in August in Saudi Arabia, he chose not to do that. He's got one fight left on his deal. So we have to respect our position and also defend our position. I'm not going to badmouth him. And we could sort this out, and we should have done if he probably would have come out, but he's got too many people in his ear that haven't got a clue what they're talking about. So, disappointing.
Where's the breakdown in communication from there? Because when I spoke to Ben Shalom last week, he's adamant that he's got no fights left with you. He's adamant that he hasn't got fights, and you are?
Sky was sent a legal letter. You know, Sky sent Lawrence Okolie. We were forwarded the presentation from Sky. It was Lawrence Okolie, the face of Sky Sports Boxing. That was what they were selling him. We wrote to Sky, who then stepped back because they knew that Lawrence Okolie had a fight left. If Ben Shalom thinks they haven't got a fight left, off they go. Sign Lawrence Okolie. They know they have, and obviously he's interfered with a contract anyway, so it's messy. And I hate all this. But at the end of the day, we're not going to be mugs at the same time, spend a fortune on Lawrence Okolie, deliver him from every level, back him when he come under unbelievable criticism, kept putting him on the big cards. Anthony Joshua done an unbelievable job for Lawrence Okolie, paid him out of his own pocket, much too much money for the fights that he was in, but we delivered on every single level. And you don't let people treat you like that. That's the bottom line. And if he thinks that we've treated him wrong, come talk to me. On what level? On what level? British, Commonwealth, European, positioned you for a world title without fighting everyone, got you a vacant world title fight, defended it twice, you boxed at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, you headlined at the O2 3 times, you boxed at the Millennium Stadium, you made an absolute fortune. I don't even blame Lawrence, because this is the world we live in boxing. Someone in the ear that is absolutely clueless.
And one messy situation to another, the Tasha Jonas situation. Obviously, it seems like there's something going on behind the scenes, and basically, what is the issue with you directly?
Did your thing just go off there? No? Okay. I saw someone said, you don't want to work with Eddie and Matchroom, but you want the Katie Taylor fight. And she came out and said, Steffi Ball doesn't work with Katie Taylor. So I guess it's partly Steffi Ball as well. I don't know. We made an offer to Tasha Jonas for the undisputed fight. Feel like we should be trying to make an undisputed fight between two Brits, especially when the first fight was a fight of the year contender. They came back to us and said, we'll come back to you. We never heard back. Today, I went back and improved that offer because I want to make the fight. I mean, if they don't like Steffi Ball, who cares? Like, go and make a fortune and become undisputed. Shouldn't we all be pushing for that? Matchroom, Sky, Dazn, Boxer. So we're up for talking about how that fight's made. If Joe Gallagher just doesn't want to fight Terry Harper, there's nothing you can do about it. But I feel like everybody should be putting pressure on that fight. It's the best fight in the division, one of the best fights in women's boxing. But, we'll see.
Just two quick short ones. I saw you last week dripped out in Boxraw gear, our sponsors. How did you find it?
Very good. The Boxraw have always sent me a lot of gear. Love wearing it. And I was just at an amateur boxing show, whacked it on, and obviously went viral. What can you do?
Definitely. And last one, you talked about it earlier in another interview with the World Cup opening ceremony. How important do you think that should have been? Because I'm sure you've seen it on Instagram where they obviously talk about the unity around the world, that they should have shown that and the general public should have got to see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can ever be right or wrong in this argument. I've been there, I've experienced it, I've had the criticism. I believe that sport can have a very positive influence and effect on change. I don't see the point in airing all the games but not showing the opening ceremony. But I don't have a problem with the BBC or whatever it is talking about or debating why it should or shouldn't be there, because that is using the platform to talk about the problems in that country. But I do feel that having done events, particularly in Saudi Arabia, that sporting events like that can have a very positive influence on the country and particularly the younger generation. So I think let's try and use it as a positive, and there's nothing bigger than the World Cup to do that. There you go.
Eddie, as always, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.